Magic scene, but
yeah, Justin Uppal, definitely a younger player, but has really enjoyed success for almost the last year. Definitely a stronger, becoming a very strong player. So he has exactly once on the start, turn 1 to Avacyn's Pilgrim. And the Telltale champion of the parish for Kunze. He has to make sure he does not get buried in the early game. That is his biggest worry. David is on 6 cards here, though, so that should hopefully contain the fast draws that Kunze is presenting.
Yeah, Uppal has an Overgrown Tomb untapped, and it looks like he's going to have a turn 2, Avacyn's Pilgrim, and Arbor Elf.
And Arbor Elf. So
and
Uppal with possibility of 6 mana on this next turn. He does play Thragtusk, full set of Thragtusk, 3 Restoration Angels. So really, in a lot of ways, he's actually a lot like a Bant deck, except that he also has this Craterhoof Behemoth in his deck and lots of mana creatures.
Yeah. He has so much ramp, and that's really what I like about Justin Uppal's deck. It's, ramp has really been missing. All these decks don't do anything turns 1, 2, and 3, but except for Justin Uppal's deck.
Well, Mayor of Averbrook comes down, counter on Champion of the Parish, and it's the turn 2 swing for 3. So strong there from David Kunze.
Yep, and only Champion can do that, really.
Yep, so Justin Uppal should be at 15 now. 3 mana, he's going to make Lingering Souls, and possibly make more Lingering Souls.
Yeah, I imagine we'll see no flashback. I wonder what he's sitting on that mana for.
It could be for a Grizzly Salvage.
Yep. That's the only instant in his deck. The only other reason to do that is if he doesn't have any spells and doesn't want the Mare to flip. But
if he has the Grizzly Salvage,
right?
Because then he can end step if Kunze tries to flip the Mare.
Yes.
He'll get salvaged. He's not gonna. He's gonna go for Silverblade Paladin.
Wow.
That's gonna pump Champion up to a 4/4 double strike. And yeah, Uppal already on having to put on the brakes here. And is he gonna try? Hopefully, he doesn't. He's gonna try to. Yeah, he can't kill it. That's gonna have double strike and be a 4/4.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's thinking about with that block.
He can't actually kill it.
No, he would need 4 more power to do that. Another 4/4.
Maybe debating if he wants to take it, that'll put him to 7 if he takes it. And that's what he's going to do.
Wow.
Uppal drops to 7. These blisteringly fast draws from David Kunze.
Really surprising, no chump block there.
Grizzly Salvage. I think what he wants to do is get up to Borderland or Craterhoof Behemoth as fast as possible. Or this Angel of Salvation. He probably can't snap that fast enough. Well, no, he doesn't have any.
Yeah, he has 2 white. No, 3 white mana. Oh.
No, that's
Woodland Cemetery Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, only 2 white mana.
So he doesn't have enough white mana for it, so he's going to have to take the Thragtusk. It's a shame there for him.
If he has Unburial Rights, though, he's in very good shape. Nope. There's the Sun Petal Grove.
He drew Sun Petal Grove?
I think he did, yeah.
Oh.
It's okay. Thragtusk's still very good. Still is going to buy him a ton of time. He's going to have a lot of souls. He's going to start pecking away with those souls tokens, I'd imagine. Maybe only 1 right here. But.
I believe, so Justin's at 7 and then goes up to 12. Or as what I believe, will confirm life totals in a second here. I believe the Champion of the Parish is double striking.
Yeah, interesting that Justin's not attacking at all.
Oh, he's opted not. Justin only took 4. The Champion of the Parish did not soulbind.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense why he didn't block there with that 1/1 spirit. If it was 8 power...
The chances are that he missed, we believe he just missed, he did not say double strike or soulbound.
Right. David Kunze, in terms of finishers for his deck, he has 4 Faith Shield, 4 Rancor, and one a Johnny Caller of the Pride. So he has some ways to punch through. Rancor and Faith Shield both super, super effective against Justin. Just really let him get through those 1/1 spirit tokens. So Avacyn's Pilgrim from David, and he'll follow it up with a
Smiter. Interesting, I think that Uppal chose to. I wonder why he didn't take the Angel there that last turn. Even despite the fact he didn't have the 3rd white, I feel like I would have kept that. We will see. Yeah, okay, the Smiter is now double striking. So yeah, the 2 of them, you see the 2 cards touching there, they are soulbound. Justin, biggest issue here, he needs to find a finisher. He almost had one in the Angel, but then he elected not to keep it.
Exactly, and really all he has, 4 spirit tokens, some 1/1s, and a Thragtusk.
Right, that's not really going to be enough. So okay, more Lingering Souls tokens being made. He's maybe just going to try to win through the air.
That's what I thought, but he didn't take the opportunity to attack earlier in the game. Not sure he will now. Oh, is that a Crater Hoof in hand?
Will we have an Avacyn's Pilgrim and a Lingering Souls in hand?
Okay, so it looks like he's
communicating. Yeah, tap untap. It's showing it what Arbor Elf's working on. Overgrown Tomb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 6 mana to work with total this turn. He's already spent 2 of it, so he should have 4. And he should have 4 more mana to work with this turn.
Yeah, interesting. His positioning of all his cards really just makes this board state kind of confusing. Lands in front of spells, spirits in the middle of mana bugs. I guess he learned from the Paulo Vitor school. Confuse your opponent.
Right, yeah, they're asking the judge, I think some sort of judge call is going on here. They're asking him no comments from the audience here. Right. So yeah, what Uppal's trying to remember, Uppal doesn't have too much in the way of a finisher. He's looking for a Crater Hoof Behemoth or an Angel of Serenity. So he has, so it'll cost 8 mana for the Behemoth, 7 for the Angel. He does have the triple white now, I believe. We believe he has the Sun Petal Grove in hand. We're not positive on that. 2 more tokens. Our Avacyn's Pilgrim. No more land. We'll pass back the turn. The biggest thing is Uppal is not finding a way to close right now.
No, he has so many great draws in his deck. He has Unburial Rites, he has Angels, he has Grizzly Salvages, Mulch is even fine here.
Right. He's setting up all these tokens just so that he can have that one big Crater Hoof turn.
Yeah, and if he ever can land a Crater Hoof, he of course just wins on the spot. Nothing David Kunze will be able to do about it. Now, these players do have access to deck lists, so David Kunze knows how many great draws Justin Uppal has, but he hasn't been attacking too much. It just seems like he's building up his forces, waiting for that one turn when he can just send a bunch of creatures in.
Well, and I mean, Uppal would obviously hope to draw a Grizzly Salvage or even a Mulch, and those I think are his 2 best draws here.
Yeah, Unburial Rites is fine. That'll get back the Angel. At this point, I think he can hardcast just about anything in his deck too. 3, no, he's at 7 mana right now.
1, 2, he has 4 mana creatures. Yeah, so he actually can't hardcast the Crater Hoof Behemoth were he to draw.
Right, unless that card in his hand is a land.
So double striking Smiter, so we have a 5/5 Champion of the Parish, or 6/6 due to Mayor of Averbrook.
Right.
A very relevant difference. And then the Luxodon Smiter, he's a 4/4 double striker.
Yeah, just confirming life totals.
Interesting the ops not to put another creature in front to make it trade.
Yeah, it looks like he...
I think he... I mean, if he's just chumping to gain damage, then he should have been chumping the Smiter to prevent damage. I think Uppal probably thought that was trading, but then missed it.
It's a 5/5 double strike versus a 4/4 double strike, right? Or
oh yeah. Sorry. I missed the recast of another Silver Blade. So it does appear that he has the Crater Hoof as the last card in his hand. So he just needs that land.
Yeah, and he's just going to make a ton of spirits. Now he has enough spirits so that he can comfortably block with some.
Yeah, Uppal wins the game on any land here. It's got to be pretty comfortable for him. He has 1, 2. He has 10 spirits.
Wow.
2 more. He's an up it to 12.
That is just so many Lingering Souls. 3 Lingering Souls, it looks like.
Right. That should give him plenty of time to draw this land. He's actually going to attack for 2, 4 in the air. Interesting. I'm wondering if it's actually relevant. So he has 12 Lingering Souls. Is that correct? He may actually be able to, even if he misses his land drop, just win by attacking in the air.
I mean, also, David Kunze can't attack with too many of his creatures because all those mana bugs might actually add up to lethal in a few turns too.
So Kunze drops to 15.
He doesn't have to worry too much yet. And also Justin Uppal has to worry about getting David Kunze within 5 life, because then Faith Shield is all of a sudden just a blowout card.
Yeah, you want to make sure you don't turn that into a Fateful Hour.
Right. So it looks like Plains, Temple Garden, and Kunze's hand, so he's out of gas. All he has to work with is what's on board.
You just hope that Uppal doesn't draw that land. If Uppal can do it, he'll get the game.
Yeah, Uppal has so many good draws here. David Kunze is definitely a dog. Even though he's ahead on board, Justin Uppal can draw half his deck. More than half his deck at this point. The only bad draw, or yeah, the only bad draws for him are Angel of Serenity, which he can't cast, Arbor Elf, Avacyn's Pilgrim, and that's about it. Even Borderland Ranger gets him there eventually, but it does. Grizzly Salvage does it, Mulch does it.
The worry, he has 4, if he swings all his double strike, if he swings all 4 of the double strikers, and that's what he's going to do. The biggest issue is the Beast will get to trade with one of the Silverblade Paladins, which, no, actually, sorry, it won't. It's pumped, so it will not. Yeah, all his double strikers represent Uppal's going to have to block 3 of them.
Right. Now, the nice thing for Justin Uppal is that David Kunze has no reach in his deck, so he can't just say, burn you out post-combat, use a pump spell on one of his creatures mid-combat. What he has on board is what he has. So Justin Uppal can comfortably go to 1.
Well, yeah, the biggest thing he's scared about is Kunze drawing a rank.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately, just has no defense against, so he kind of, has to cross fingers and say no rank.
Right, if he doesn't have it now, he's probably not going to draw it. So Justin Uppal comfortably can go to 1 at any point in this game. He just has to live for 1 or 2 more turns to draw one of his outs. And there they come.
He's going to chump all 4, so 4 spirits are binned, and pass back up the turn.
And Mare flips.
If it's a land, it's not. Is it?
Oh, it is.
It's a vault. 1, 2, 3. Just not able to even tap this faster. 5, 6. 5, 6, 7, 8. Creator Hook Behemoth. And Kunze doesn't even need to count it. Instantly scoops them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures. All creatures with 14 trample. Just one of the spirit tokens is lethal, but Uppal has 8 of them.
Wow.
So swinging for a colossal 120 damage in the air.
So Justin Uppal takes game 1 pretty handily. It looked close, but really, David Kunze was on borrowed time there. He had to get very, very lucky to win that
Justin
game.
Uppal halfway to avenging his loss. So, all right, we're going to bring you back into the booth just for a second here. So,
yeah, and if you are just joining us, I'm Zach Hall.
Yeah, I'm Matthias Hunt. So, as you might remember, those of you who've watched Star City Opens before, during the top 8 of our events, we do some trivia questions where progressively, as we get farther and farther in the top 8, each trivia gets another prize to it. So the first prize, but this is the one in the top 8, is if you can correctly answer our trivia question, you will receive 3 months of Star City Games Premium.
Right.
Now, but that will only happen if you tweet with this hashtag, SCG Premium, the one you see below our logo. You can tweet it at me, at Zach. You can tweet it at SCG Live. It needs the hashtag of SCG Premium.
Right, that's the important one. You can include anything you want as long as it has the correct answer and SCG Premium. You will get entered into the drawing. 1 person who gets the correct answer will get chosen. Doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter if you're the last person, the first person. As long as it's before the top 8 match is over,
Right.
and you get it in, and you'll be entered into the drawing.
All right, so we're gonna say the question we have here, because we've been talking a little bit about how the metagame has changed today. So we're gonna ask what deck that had at least. We'll do a little preamble. A month ago, the 2 of us, if you were watching us, did the Star City Open in Cincinnati. It was the very first Open of this new format. It was week 1 of the Star City Standard format. And now we're on week 5, so the metagame's probably changed. But in our first Open, there was a certain deck that had 3 of the spots, at least 3 of the spots in the top 8 in Cincinnati. So what deck that had 3 top 8 spots in Cincinnati have we seen none of today in our feature matches or the top 8? What deck has been completely absent from this Open?
That's a good question.
Right.
I like it. And if you don't know the answer off the top of your head, if you weren't watching, you can of course go to StarCityGames.com, go to event coverage archives, look it up.
It would have been the Cincinnati Open.
Cincinnati Open,
it would have been the
4 or
first
5 weeks ago.
So this early front runner just has fallen off the map.
Yep. And that's for 3 months of Star City Games Premium.
All right.
Use SCG Premium.
Okay. Well, let's bring you back into the match. So Justin Uppal, halfway to his top 4 finish, halfway to avenging his loss.
So, I heard a pretty interesting stat from Ruben Bressler. It was fact or fiction pile. Which pile has a greater age in years? The pile Adam Prozac on his own, or the pile Justin Uppal plus David Kunze?
It wasn't David Kunze, it's Justin Uppal plus Nick Marriott, who's also in our top 8.
No.
So it might be a similar question.
Yeah.
So the answer is actually by 2 months, the pile of Adam Prozac is actually
is older
combined.
So the old logic, take the pile with less cards in it. Works for this one too. Adam Prozac,
So
the old man of the top 8.
Well, let's look at their sideboard. Last time we talked about this sideboarding matchup, we weren't completely sure how David Kunze sideboarded. Ruben and I agreed that Dryad Militants would have to come in this matchup. They're fast. It's annoying that they trade with Arbor Elves, but that's probably okay. LDing Justin is pretty good too. We like those. We actually liked Celestia Charm a little bit in the matchup. Rest in Peace was a card we didn't actually like in the matchup. We figured since they're in David Kunze's deck, he probably intends to side them in.
Right, yeah, I don't like them either. I mean, Justin Uppal is not your regular strain of Reanimator. He's not all in on the Unburial Rites. He's more of a cast these for value as well type of deck.
Right, and that's the thing, actually Reanimator just really isn't much of that anymore.
No, it's not. The Unburial Rites are really in there for value more than to combo.
We're saying if he wanted enchantment, we probably would have gone with Ground Seal. At least he can cantrip it, but probably just more militant. I mean, he now has the full set of militants post-boarding.
Yeah, I definitely like the Dryad Militant. Celestia Charm is nice too because you can RFG an Angel.
Right.
Or you can just make a 2/2 on curve.
Yeah, you can trample a creature, which actually is fairly relevant with
that game. It sure would have been.
Yeah. So over on Justin's side, he's probably going to become more of a boring deck. I imagine we'll see Centaur Healers coming on his side. I think he needs to have removal. That's the big. You know, the fact that these Silverblade Paladins have no kills, he has no kill spells game 1 for Silverblade Paladin is such a liability. So, you know, Oblivion Ring, Abrupt Decay, Sever the Bloodline, we may see all of these cards.
Yeah, I think we will. I think we'll even maybe see Garruk Primal Hunter just on his ability to churn out the 3/3 beasts, although that one might be a little ambitious on the draw. But certainly the healers, O-Ring, Abrupt Decay, Sever. Those are the ones that are slam dunk in the deck. In terms of what he's taking out, after he seeds David Kunze's sideboard, I might just take out Unburial Rites and mulch. Because I see those 2 rest in, or rather the 3 rest in peace, the extra Dryad Militants. I would just say to myself, I'm not going to interact with my graveyard at all. I'm just going to take out the parts of my deck that are least effective against Kunze's sideboard.
Yeah. I mean, really, Uppal's a ramp deck in this matchup first. And, I mean, actually, the term Reanimator for the junk deck might be a little misleading. It's really a ramp deck first and a Reanimator deck second.
It is. It's like a value deck that happens to have Unburial Rites as one of its value spells. So Justin Uppal, do you think he'll board out the Unburial Rites, or do you think he'll keep them in?
Well, the thing is, so there's all these removal spells I want to make room for right now. I'd almost say no Unburial Rites. Let it go. I think that's actually probably just correct to stop trying to be a Reanimator deck. You don't have time for that. If you want to. So Unburial Rites makes you sometimes faster, and that's the advantage of it. But the disadvantage, if you want to be, rather than being sometimes faster, why not just be sometimes resilient here? I think it's much better to just to have kill spells.
Resilient here, I like it. I agree.
Yeah.
So that begs the question, did David Kunze predict that and not side in the resting pieces?
So turn 1, we have Avacyn's Pilgrim from David Kunze. And it will be matched by Justin Uppal. Kunze there as the FNM promo Pilgrim, in case you're wondering why they look different.
I also like Justin Uppal's Forest better.
Alright.
That's just personal preference, though.
Both Zendikar, just different art.
Yeah.
Alright, turn 2, we're going to see Thalia from Kunze, followed by another Avacyn's Pilgrim. So really he's coming to the board, and he's lots of very strong plays. The interesting thing actually here is that none of his plays do damage, which is pretty relevant.
Yeah, it's really interesting that he chose not to cast the Smiter on turn 2. He chose the Avacyn's plus Thalia instead.
A 3-mana mulch will just find Gavoni Township and put Oblivion Ring and Restoration Angel in the graveyard for Uppal. The way that Uppal stacked his graveyard like that especially makes me think that he's boarded out the Unburial Rites. He doesn't even seem to care what's in it, as though it's not coming back.
Yeah, he didn't fan it out at all. No studying it, no offering it to David Kunze.
A swing for 4 drops Uppal to 16. Uppal didn't really find much off that mulch.
And here's the Smiter.
There we go. 4/4. So Kunze now with 8 damage represented on the board. It's a 2-turn clock.
Yep, and Uppal is now going to really have to get some Souls tokens onto the board just to block.
Yeah, drops himself down to 14 for Temple Garden. Really, he's going to have to hope to Thragtusk it and pay 4 mana for Lingering Souls. So that Thalia is doing great work here.
Yeah, it sure is. Justin Uppal would have loved to have traded off the Avacyn's Pilgrim otherwise.
The big thing which Uppal has going for him is that Kunze is kind of running out of steam. He has another Thalia in his hand, and I don't know the last card, but the board might be what he has to beat, which from humans is certainly not a scary deck.
Wow, so Uppal just goes chump chump. He doesn't save his second spirit token.
Yeah, the reason you may want to keep your second spirit token is then 3 spirit tokens can kill a Thalia next turn. It's ambitious, but...
Well, also just the fact that those spirit tokens are holding off the pilgrims.
Yeah. Uppal has drawn an Unburial Rites. He apparently has kept it in.
Wow.
On 4 mana, he's now going to cast... We'll see here.
He doesn't have black mana. That's pretty important
He's
to notice,
going to Oblivion Ring, the Luxodon Smiter, and then cast another Absence Pilgrim. Yeah.
Okay, so his chump block on the Thalia makes a little more sense now that he is
black.
Oblivion, right?
Well, and he has no, he has no black, so he wouldn't have the potential to make that trade. So that actually makes plenty of sense. Updates: Brian Forsberg and Nick Marriott going to Game 3.
Yep, so a close match of the mid-range deck versus the tempo deck.
Yeah, and we actually have our first spot, congratulations, in top 4. Jacob Baugh, 2-0, quickly defeats Adam Prosak in his blue-white tempo deck. So Jacob Baugh and his Bant deck will be there in top 4 tomorrow.
My called shot failed.
There. Well fought, though. Well fought. I like that you called it at round 2.
Hey, he got halfway there. He made the top 8. Couldn't close it out.
All right, so now friend of his, Justin Uppal, seeing if he can get into the top 4. Maybe compete for his first trophy tomorrow. It's gonna be 2 Lingering Souls tokens. He's facing down a fair amount of heat from David's side of the board.
He does, but if he has an Angel of Serenity, he can untap and play it. Yeah. David Kunze, no real removal. Not unless he sided an Oblivion Ring. Oh, there's the Paladin.
All right, Silverblade Paladin puts a counter on Champion the Parish and is going to probably pair up with Champion.
Yep, it looks like he did. So we have a Soul Bond, Champion of the Parish, 2/2.
He's going to swing the team in, just pushing damage. It's very well played. Token there, tokens, we take 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Uppal will drop to 5. He's up to 5. All right, second match in top 8 done. 2 games to 1. Brian Humberg, playing Bant, defeats Mark Castillo. So Mark Castillo was the removal heavy Jund. So far our top 4 has 2 Bant decks. Our 2 Bant decks in top 8, both making it through to top 4.
Wow, so 2 for 2 on Bant. Maybe it still is the deck to beat.
You have to think Ryan Forsberg or Nick Marriott gives a great chance to win here, if that ends up being the case.
Yeah. So it looks like Borderland Ranger for Justin Uppal and a flashback on Lingering Souls. That's going to make 2 more blockers.
Just needs to survive just a little bit longer. Does he have? He has in his hand. He has an Unburial Rites. I don't know the other card. It may just be a Centaur Healer.
Oh, I thought it was an Angel at first, but that doesn't make sense because he would have slammed that last turn.
Yeah. The big thing for Uppal is that he doesn't have a finisher right now.
No, he's just chump blocking.
His deck lacks a real sweeper, so it always becomes a race. You know, Kunze will establish that critical mass given enough time.
Oh, and there's the Rancor drawn from David Kunze. That's going to be huge.
Oh, that may just be lethal, actually.
Yeah, I think it might be. That's a double striking 4/2.
So that's 8 damage. So no matter what, 1/2.
Yeah, that's definitely
that's
lethal.
certainly a lethal swing.
Justin Uppal has no choice but to pack it in and go to game 3.
You may not realize it yet. The problem is that Uppal only has 6 damage worth of blocks, so he can only. I mean, yeah, he's very dead here.
Yeah, this isn't even close. You can put 3 1/1s in front of the 2, 4, and 2. Yeah, there it is. That's the scoop.
So that's going to game 3. Justin Kunze takes the second game. And this has got. I still think this is a good matchup for David Kunze.
Oh, really? I'm not so sure. I think it's good for Justin Uppal.
Well, he just doesn't have kill spells. Is the problem.
No, he doesn't. He has something like 6 after board. But the thing about it is, David Kunze cannot contest an Angel of Serenity, and he cannot contest a Craterhoof Behemoth. Sure, you can say that he has Selesnya Charms for the Angel, but it's gonna still do a huge amount of work, and probably buy Justin Uppal enough time. I don't know though. Thalia was a huge crimp in Justin Uppal's game plan there.
Yeah.
That cost him probably 5 extra mana over the course of that game.
I mean, definitely, really. So the question is whether Justin's going to still be on the Unburial Rites plan. I was very surprised to see it there in game 2, and especially it never did show up for him. He never had time.
Right. I have no idea what he sided out. Like if he didn't side out the Unburial Rites, that means he sided out. Well, and he also played a mulch. That means he sided out Grizzly Salvage, mulch, like that. I'm not so sure about that.
Right, so it appears, yeah, to get the removal spells then, yeah, I'm not sure what he did side up. We did see most every card still there for him.
Yeah, we didn't see, I guess, Craterhoof Behemoth and Angel of Serenity, but neutering your deck like that just seems like asking for trouble.
Right.
I mean, we saw how he won game 1. He won game 1 as soon as he got to 8 mana on the spot.
Well, to be fair, we didn't see Thragtusk, but I can't imagine he sided that out.
No, there's no way. If Justin Uppal sided out Thragtusk, he's out of the top 8. So there you see the sideboards again. It didn't look like either player really went back to it. I guess they're content with their sideboard choices. Didn't see any rested pieces.
Well, it's a fairly straightforward sideboard from David Kunze.
Yep, you bring in the anti-graveyard cards, and you bring in the Selesnya Charms. And that's about it.
And even then, I'm not, you don't have to bring in those.
No, definitely not. I mean, at the time when you're killing Angel of Serenity, it's probably not even that relevant.
Right. I mean, it's his main deck. It's really the fact that Kunze is playing this aggro, this like critical mass aggro strategy, and that Uppal has no sweepers. And that I think is the big dynamic of the game. Uppal has to finish the game before the horde, this like horde of humans kills him.
Right. The horde of ravenous humans.
The horde of ravenous humans.
He also
Before
has
the townsfolk get him.
4 Sublime Archangel too, which can really clock him.
Right, so it's it's those cards like Sublime Archangel and Silverblade Paladin that, when there's no removal spell for them, those cards are terrifyingly strong.
Yeah, when there is, they're oftentimes a joke, but I mean there are times in matchups like this where they're exactly what you want to be doing. So yeah, I think I have to give it to Justin Uppal here. I definitely see your position that the white-green humans deck will just get a critical mass, especially with Rancor.
Sure.
That's the really scary card.
Right, because there's Rancor in combination with, either Silverblade or Sublime Archangel, which is just very hard for them to deal with.
Right, like it's pretty reasonable to say that David will probably draw 1 Archangel or 1 Silverblade Paladin. The question is just whether he can force those through.
Right, so yeah, Rancor a very relevant card in the matchup too.
So right now there are 2 matches left. If we finish this one before the Ryan Forsberg and Nick Marriott match finishes, we'll take you over there for the game 3. But for right now, we're on this match here, Uppal v. Kunze for the 3rd spot in our top 4.
Baugh and Humberg both already in top 4, both playing banned.
Important to note too that they're on opposite sides of the bracket, so
we could have an all-banned finals.
Very possible we could have an all-banned finals.
That's a lot of life gain.
That's a real lot of life gain. That's Centaur Healers on Thragtusks.
And on Sphinx's Revelation.
Oh, boy.
You'd be in for a thriller.
So, if you've never watched an Open before, this is basically how tonight's going to work. We're only doing the top 8 tonight.
Right, these players, have already played. This will be their 10th round of Magic today. It's quite a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
So
they got here at 10 a.m. They played their first round at 10 a.m. They're not going to finish till 10 p.m. So the top 4 will come back tomorrow before the Legacy Open starts. That'll be 8 a.m. our time, so that's 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll start that up. We'll do the semifinals. We'll do the finals. We'll skip the first 2 rounds of Legacy, and then we'll replay the semis and finals.
Right. So Justin Uppal, turn 1, shocks himself for Overgrown Tomb into Arbor Elf, and just a Temple Garden from Kunze. Justin's got to be thrilled about that development.
Yeah, no 1-drop. It's got to be.
Petal Grove, and we'll see Lingering Souls. Justin Uppal getting an upper hand here. The question is, once again, does he have a finisher? Does he have a way he can close the game?
Exactly. Those 1/1 spirits oftentimes just turn to chump blockers against this white-green deck.
They're really they just buy time.
Yep. So, there's the rested piece. You have to play Mare of Averbrook here. I don't think you can just play Rest in Peace.
Well, if you play Rest in Peace, it would be because he's going to do it. Rest in Peace is going to get the Lingering Souls out of the game.
That's true, too.
And if I'm Justin Uppal, I don't care. That was never the plan to begin with.
Right. These souls, if they get any damage at all, they've done their job.
Getting Avacyn's Pilgrim, land, passes the turn back. So that did essentially kill 2 1/1s.
It did.
I think I prefer that play to Mare. But Kunze needs to establish a board presence of his own. That should be easy enough to do. Here comes Loxodon Smiter. That should stop most of Uppal's creatures dead there. He still gets to swing with some Souls tokens. The big thing is, does Uppal have a finisher?
I don't think he does. I think he's going to Oblivion Ring. Oh no, he has a Thragtusk.
Yep. into play tapped. So he's going to tap out then for Thragtusk. Temple Garden into play tapped. Uppal goes to 23. He does have an Oblivion Ring for the Sublime Archangel that Kunze might make here.
Yeah, he does. He'll take some damage, but he'll be able to untap in a great position to actually race this white green human stack, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, for sure.
Turn 1 mana elf, really powerful. That's all that says.
He also has a Ajani, Caller for Pride in this hand.
Wow, okay. He can't play 2 spells though, so he just has to figure out which of these spells is the best one. He's looking at Sublime Archangel. That's the one he's going to play, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So that'll deal 6 damage on the swing. On the swing back, interestingly enough, Justin Uppal will start to threaten lethal here.
Yeah.
Not this turn, but he's going to change the. He's decided he wants to be the aggro deck here.
Exactly.
Drawing an Unburial Rites, rather a weak card right now.
Not at its strongest
Yep.
against Rest in Peace.
Yeah, I really don't like that he left that in. We'll see if he gets away with it anyway, though. Yeah, Oblivion Ring and Swing the Team, I think, is the plays. You know, O-Ring, you can't keep Sublime Archangel alive. Oh, he's going to Oblivion Ring the Rest in Peace.
Wow, I don't like that at all. I like just getting rid of the Archangel attack.
If he gets
for
rid of the
9.
Archangel, yeah, he attacks for 9, puts Kunze to 6. The problem is, like, he has no way to force the remaining 6 damage.
Right, now, Kunze doesn't even have to trade with that Thragtusk if he doesn't want to. He can just keep attacking
he can
with
just
Sublime.
play a bunch of creatures, and we probably put up on a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this also really backfires for Justin Uppal if David has another Rest in Peace.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is you can't raise Sublime Archangel. That's too good.
You definitely can't. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Oblivion Ring target is definitely wrong.
You don't like it all. And another Sublime Archangel. That's going to be 6 points of Exalted. He has a swing for 10 in the air, drops Uppal to 7, or to chumping with a token.
Yeah.
So apparently Uppal is content to. He said he wants to try and, you know, basically buy time.
Right, and that's also the
That's
problem with the
respectable.
O-Ring too, because now David Kunze just won't block. He's
Right.
okay, he killed my Rest in Peace. He clearly has a right, so I won't block that. He
Right.
can easily go to 5 life in this matchup.
Uppal holding onto a land with a slight bluff there.
So Champion of the Parish for David Kunze. He'll be able to play 2 creatures here if he wants to.
Right here, there's only 1 more Souls token that Justin Uppal has for chunk blocking.
Yeah, Justin Uppal's going to have 1 or 2 more draw phases.
Probably just 1. I mean, if Kunze can get enough creatures on the battlefield, he can make a lethal swing here for the turn when it finally clears. Ajani in play. Ajani will put a counter on probably a Sublime Archangel.
Justin Uppal will give that one a read. Make sure he's not dead.
All right, so in our third, we have our third person in the top 4, and perennial Star City player Ryan Forsberg defeats Nick Marriott.
Nope. Congratulations, Ryan Forsberg. It's
Yeah.
a blue-white tempo-less top 4.
Yeah, so Brian Forsberg is playing a blue-white-red mid-range deck. So just this match in top 8 remains. Can Justin Uppal, he's wanting to avenge his loss to David Kunze, took the first game, but appears to be on the back foot in game 3, having lost game 2 as well.
Yeah, David Kunze, 1/1 counter on the Archangel, and she'll swing in.
With the RBCA one, you know you like that one better.
All right.
Souls token has to jump in the way right there.
I suppose it's not lethal if it doesn't. It's just pretty bad. It means it allows Kunze the Alpha Strike option, which he doesn't want to have happen. So Thalia is now in play. That'll cramp Uppal's style a little bit. Uppal with just another land. That should be enough that if Kunze doesn't block here, I believe he's attacking Ajani.
Oh, and that might convince Kunze to block.
He shouldn't.
No, he definitely shouldn't. I mean, the fact that O-Ring was played on Rest in Peace, you have to know
Yes,
he
it's
has
an indicator that he
Unburial
has
Rites.
Unburial Rites. But he's going to make the play. That bought Uppal at least 1 more. Probably bought Uppal 1 more turn. I'm not positive that it does.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
22.
It's a lot of damage. Wow.
So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
10. No, it didn't even.
No, he's up to 22.
Okay, 22,
So
not
it's a
17.
5/4. It's going to get pumped 6 times from Exalted and double strikes up to
With
22.
Ajani, yeah,
It actually doesn't even buy him a turn.
That's lethal. Yeah, I feel like if Justin if Justin Uppal went for Kunze's life total, he might have this game.
It'd certainly be more interesting. My guess is he still doesn't have it. I don't think he has it the other way either. I don't think he will find a way to deal that last 6 damage. It's closely though.
So they're confirming something with the judges. It doesn't really matter because David Kunze, I believe, has a lethal attack here. So Champion gets a counter, Johnny gets activated, and presumably Lethal gets swung. Yep, there it is. There it is. And there's the hand.
All right, David Kunze can stay up. Justin fights valiantly, but it falls again to the green-white humans. Well fought with Reanimator, but his only lost the day. Comes and repeats back at him. Kunze is into the top 4, where he'll be meeting Brian Humberg.
Yeah. Congratulations to Justin Uppal and all of our competitors that fell in the top 8. Justin Uppal 8-2 on this tournament. 8 losses versus the field. 8 wins versus the field. 2 losses to David Kunze.
Right. And that's got to be one of those ones that hurts when that's their one loss. And then you just sometimes people have your number, and today that happened to Justin.
Exactly. David Kunze moves on. So why don't you run us down our top 4 bracket?
All right. So our
here?
top